Guys, people in this UK, some people are very crazy, but my neighbors came together to call the British police on my head. Then they told me they've opened a case file, but if I'm happy with that, they're going to close the case. I told them to close the case because it didn't make any sense. They themselves knew, like they saw that the case was a foolish case. It was a foolish case. Yeah, they saw it. They knew that was a foolish case. For whatever reason, the police came to search my flat, and it was a whole lot of bad advice I'll give to you guys in this video. I met the two neighbors, the two couples. So the middle London and then the downstairs neighbors. And they were saying something. Immediately they saw me coming, they all kept quiet. So he began to knock. By your sister, I was sleeping and I was dead. So I have her staff in my place, and then she called me. She was moving from Eastbourne to come for the staff. And the next thing I heard, this is the British police. My sisters and brothers, the way I jumped from the bed, I don't know how I jumped from the bed and got down to my door. Hello and welcome once again to another episode here on a girl's YouTube channel. How are you doing, guys? I know you are doing absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for your constant support and for always coming back to the channel. If you are new to my space and my channel, hello, hi. My name is Becca. I'm a migrant. I'm originally from Ghana in West Africa, and I live and I work in London. And on this channel, basically, I do a little bit of like everything, every good stuff in between. Guys, people in this UK, some people are very crazy. I don't know what to call this victimization. Like, I don't know the appropriate word to use, but my neighbors came together to call the British police on my head. You will not believe it. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you how this came about, how my neighbors came together. My London nosy neighbors, I think that's how I'm going to name this video. My nosy London neighbors called the British police on me. The police came to search my flat, and it was a whole lot of buzz. And I want to tell you guys that I'm telling you this for free. That in this country, if you don't learn to stand up for yourself, if you don't learn to speak up for yourself, people like try to frustrate your life, basically, okay? The purpose of this video is not to kind of like raise any anxiety or anything in people, but it's just to throw more light, to tell you that you learn to speak, you have to learn to speak for yourself, okay? And also in this video, I'm not going to mention any nationality or anything so that people do not think I am trying to play the race card. I'm trying to paint a picture of racism or anything. But the only thing I want to say is that these my neighbors were not English, okay? So that you guys will not think that they were English people and they were trying to come after me. On the contrary, the English people are rather very sweet souls. It's just that some people, like some migrants, some even are blacks like yourself, but I don't know the kind of sense they have in their head, okay? They just try to frustrate your beautiful life. So this happened. Before the story, let me give you a little bit of background, okay? As to the type of house I was living in. This is something that has passed, right? As to the type of house I was living in and how like all these things came about before they called the police on me. So that not be like I'm telling you that my neighbors called police on me for no reason. Okay, there was a reason, and that is what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so I lived in an HMO. When we talk about HMO, it means house of multiple occupancy. So for where I lived, I think it was a 5-bedroom house. Is it a 5 or 4-bedroom house? I don't know. Then they segregated it, okay? So it was ground floor, first floor, second floor. So the ground floor was 2-bedroom flat, which was occupied by a couple and 2 children. And then the first floor, which is the second flat 2, was also occupied by a family, which was a couple and 1 child. And I was on the top, which is the second floor. So when you are like the HMO, it has one door. It has one main door to enter the whole house. But once you enter the house, each flat has its own door and own key and own entrance, okay? So if somebody wants to access the house, the person will first go through the main door, which is always locked. So somebody needs to open the door for them. And then when they come in and they know the flat that they are going, they will ring the flat bell, and then whoever is in the flat will open the door for them. But my flat didn't have a bell because most of the times all the people that visited me were not, I didn't have any impromptu visitors, okay? Anybody that visits me has to like call me to even make sure that I was home, because most of the times I may not be home. So most of my friends who came to visit me would rather call me to give me a heads up, to tell me, to ask me whether I was home before they would come and visit. This particular neighbor, the one downstairs, who is the one on the ground floor, was constantly very, very picky on me, and I felt like he was being very, very nosy, to the day that he even fought with one of my friends that came to visit because we had a drive in front of the house. The family in middle London didn't have a car. He had a car and I had a car, and that drive could take 2 cars. Okay, sometimes he will park, instead of leaving me a space, he will park horizontally like this to cross the drive so that you can't park there. Or he was a car dealer, so he will bring cars from his workplace or his warehouse or wherever to park in the drive. So I was parking on the street and I was paying to park. Okay, when I went to Turkey for holiday, when I came back, at that time I was using a small, like a saloon car. Okay, so when I came back from Turkey, I felt like, let me change my car. So I changed my car, and then I bought this car I'm using now. When this gentleman saw the car, he was making comments and comments. It's like he feels like the whole UK money is in my pocket. I don't know what he was really thinking about me. And since then, I felt like his eyes were constantly behind me, through his mannerisms and his approach, and even the way sometimes he talks to people that come to visit me, fighting them. There was a day he even fought with one of my friends that came to visit me because my friend parked in the drive, and it was a big brouhaha. But fortunately, most of my friends that came to visit me were either British or they've been in the UK for very long, so they knew their rights and they will fight him back. So because of all of this, we didn't get along really, really well. So one day, it was a Monday morning, so I had closed from a shift. The shift was a Sunday night shift into Monday. And that particular kind of shift where you barely sit, like I didn't even have my break. That whole night I was on my feet. My residents were not doing well. Those that were wondering about. Like I had quite a lot of incidents. And one of my carers had an asthmatic attack. I had to take her out of the floor. It's like a whole lot of things happened in that shift. I was so stressed on that shift. I didn't have my break. I barely sat. I had a lot of paperwork to do. So when I closed in the morning and I came home, I was quite knackered. I couldn't even lift my head. I don't even know how I drove to come home. So when I got home, I was very, very, very knackered. On that same Monday morning, I had a friend who used to live very close to where I was living, but she had a job she does agency, so she had a job in Eastbourne. And if you know England well, Eastbourne is like the southern part of England. So my friend had a job in Eastbourne, and when she was moving out of London, she didn't have a place to put some of her stuff. So she asked me to put some of her stuff in my storage spaces, which I agreed. So I had her stuff in my storage space. And that morning she called me that she's found an accommodation in London because she's moving back to London. So I have her stuff in my place, and then she called me. She was moving from Eastbourne to come for the stuff. So when I calculated the time, if she leaves Eastbourne like 8 o'clock, all things being equal, she was going to get to London around past midday. So I reassured her to come. I didn't know that morning I was going to be so tired, to the extent that I can't even open my eyes to do anything. You know, those kind of mornings that when you close, like you don't know what to do with yourself. On this fateful Monday morning, I closed from work as usual. I went home, I took a warm shower, I took a hot drink, I turned on my heater like it wasn't high, it wasn't low, okay, like medium heat. And then I felt very comfortable. I entered my duvets, and before I realized anything, I was fast asleep. And most of the times when I'm that tired or when I'm at work, my phone is on silence. So when I closed and came back home, I didn't put my phone off silence, so my phone was still on silence. So I didn't even see that. I didn't even remember that my friend was coming to take anything from me. When my friend got to my house, she saw that my car was parked outside, so she knew that definitely I was home. But unfortunately, as I said, when I'm sleeping, my phone is on silence. So she called. She couldn't get access to me, but she had access through the door, the main door downstairs, and then she came to the entrance of my flat. She knocked, and I couldn't hear because, as I said, I was sleeping dead. And she called my phone several times, but my line was not going through. So my friend began to bang the door so loud. And if I say so loud, I mean the knock was very, very loud, which woke me out of my dreams or out of my sleep. I got downstairs, gave her access to the flat. She came to take her things and then left. I went back to sleep and I'm dead again. Like I slept again. I went into deep sleep because that night again I was going to work. So I wanted to like rest very well so that in case the night repeats itself chaotic like it was the night before, I'll be well rested to face that night. Okay. So I went back into deep sleep. The next thing I heard in my deep sleep is, "You are triggering a safeguarding." I just jumped out of the sleep, and at that moment I couldn't like get up of the bed. But you know, if you know safeguarding, a situation that triggers decision-making bodies or the police to take extra caution on behalf of an individual, being it a vulnerable person, a child, or an adult. So when I heard safeguarding, I was like, safeguarding, where is this coming from? So I was just in bed reminiscing over the word safeguarding, and then I heard my door shaking at the down there. Now the whole building was literally shaking. You are triggering a safeguarding. For the second time, I was like, what is happening here? So they knocked. I was like, who is knocking at my door so loud? Then the next thing I heard, this is the British police. My sisters and brothers, the way I jumped from the bed, I don't know how I jumped from the bed and got down to my door. I opened the door and lo and behold, it was a gentleman and a lady. Okay, the gentleman very well built, like they were dressed in their uniform with their iPads, and you know that mobile phone that they hold to call. I don't like, it's a centralized call they do, so they communicate with somebody from somewhere. They had those their phones. I've forgotten the name they call that phone, but they had those their phone. They had their handcuffs. You know the way they dress when they're going on like operations. And then the lady was behind the gentleman. So when I opened the door, to be honest, I wasn't even properly dressed, but like I panicked. So I just went downstairs in my nightwear. When I opened the door and I saw them, I was like, what is happening here? She said, can we come up with you? We have a warrant to search your flat. I was like, search my flat. At that moment, I wanted to panic, but I remained calm. And then I started to search through my mind that like, what have I done for the police to come to my house? This is not somebody's story I'm telling you. This is my own story I'm telling you. What have I done for the police to come to my house? Like triggering a safeguard. Like I couldn't put one or two together in my mind. So anyway, I calmly led them upstairs into the main flat, and then they flashed their ID cards to me. They introduced themselves, and then they asked me whether I was sleeping. I said, of course I was sleeping. I was like deep in sleep. I have just come back from a night duty. So they asked me what work I do. I said I'm a nurse. So they began to like become friendly. They relaxed. I told them I'm a nurse. I only work night shifts. I went for a night shift, came back. I'm very knackered because my shift didn't go very well, and I'm trying to sleep, and like my sleep has not been smooth. Disturbances all over. Plus they've made me very, very anxious. Now I can't even go back to sleep again. So they apologized, and then they said it's not them that they were called, that there is I asked them like, why, like what is the purpose of your visit to search my flat? Okay, you can search my flat, but before then, why are you going to search my flat? They said they were called that there are strange noises in my flat. There are strange noises coming out of my flat. So they have the warrant to search my flat. Anyway, you know the size of my flat. As I've shown in the video, the flat is not even big. So I just told them, okay, you are free to search. So the gentleman searched the toilet and the kitchen. The ladies searched the storage spaces. They opened my wardrobe, under the bed. They searched everywhere. So they actually said they were told that the person who came to make noise is actually still in the flat. So they want to come and get the person out. So after the police searched my flat, they began to ask me the name of my friend, whether I knew her or it was somebody that was just passing by. I told them she's my friend. Obviously, I know her. She's not like a stranger. They asked for her full name, which I gave them. At that time, I was very calm and I didn't want to lie. So I gave them her full name. But after I gave her full name, I realized that I was just about to make a mistake. What if they go to her house to create some shenanigans? What if? So anyway, they asked for her date of birth, which obviously I know her birthday, but I don't know her date of birth, if that makes sense. I know her birthday. I mean the date she was born, the day and the month, but I don't know the year she was born. So I told them I don't know the whole, like the full date of birth. They asked for her house address, and obviously I didn't know her house address because, as I said, she had just moved out of London to Eastbourne and she was coming back to London. I don't know which part of London she was going to be living in, so I don't know where she lived. Then they told me they've opened a case file, but if I'm happy with that, they're going to close the case. I told them to close the case because it didn't make any sense. Why would you want to go and look for my friend because she came to my house to make noise? Obviously, she didn't harm me. I wasn't harmed. And as the police could see, I was very safe. I was sleeping at the time they came. They themselves knew, like they saw that the case was a foolish case. It was a foolish case. Yeah, they saw it. They knew that was a foolish case. And they began to ask why they were called. So that was when I also asked them, who called you? Because I am safe, as you can see, and I'm not in any form of harm or danger. My life is not threatened. It's just a simple knock that was obviously too hard than the normal, but as you can see, I am very safe. Okay, so yeah, I didn't give them details to my friend, which obviously I didn't even have. They closed my case, case number, whatever, I've forgotten, but yeah, they closed the case and they actually apologized for the inconveniences, for disturbing my sleep, and they left. But what I didn't understand was why my neighbor would call the police without calling me first, or like without, like, I don't understand. Was it for a good intention, or because me from the time before he called the police, I sensed negative vibe I sensed negative vibe. Okay, so that couple downstairs and the one in the middle London, they came together to call the police for me. Like, I could sense negative vibe in his actions and the way he even talks. Sometimes I even greet them, they don't respond, but me, I feel like it's just one of those life, situations. I don't mind. I just go ahead and do my routines. I don't even mind anybody at all. As far as you are not the one paying my bills and I'm not eating from your house, I'm good. Okay, plus if he says he hears strange noises from my flat, me, I hear strange noises from their flat, both of them, because they have children and their children can make a hell of a noise. But because me, I'm a mother, I have children also. It's just that they are not here with me at the moment, but I know how it feels like to have children. Children can be fussy, they can cry over nothing, like they can scream. Okay, so when their children are disturbed, sometimes I've come back from night, I'm trying to sleep, and these children will be screaming so loud, shaking the whole house. And you know, these HMOs and this London flats, they are just separated by tin woods and all of those bits. So when they shout, all the shout is in my bed. But me, I don't complain, I don't talk, I don't do anything because I have children also and I put myself in their shoes. But why would you call the police if you hear a noise from my flat? Why will you not prompt me? Why will you not approach me? Plus, is it the police you should have called? Because I know there is this environmental control. I feel like it is noise pollution. They feel like I polluted the environment with my noise. Okay, that's why maybe they call police. But is it not the environmental control agency or something that they should have called? I don't know, guys. Please correct me in the comment section because this whole thing over me. But the advice I'll give to you guys in this video is that don't make unnecessary noise, because people here can be very, very fussy and you don't know who is picking up on you, you don't know who is checking up on you. And then a second thing is, learn to speak up for yourself. If something is not right, learn to speak up for yourself. So when this thing happened, the day after I was going to work, I met the two neighbors, the two couples. So the upstairs and the middle London and then the downstairs neighbors, they were all standing at the main entrance. They thought maybe I'll ask them something, or like I'll confront them, or I'll be angry, or so they were all standing there. They were saying something. Immediately they saw me coming, they all kept quiet. Okay, but I consulted people and they told me not to follow up on that, not to talk about that. I should just let it slide. So I let it be. I didn't follow up. I didn't mind them, and life went on. So I just felt like telling you guys. Let me know in the comment section if any of this has happened to you, because initially I felt I have been victimized. I felt I was being tagged. I felt at a point I feel because I'm black, I don't know, but I feel like people feel that black people should not have certain things, or they shouldn't have certain luxury or something. So once you have access to those things, they begin to, I don't know. But one of my colleagues at work, she's an elderly woman, she's been in the country for like 25 years. She also told me that when she started to drive, same thing happened to her. She bought a brand new car. And because of that, the police actually followed her. They drove behind her up to her house to check her house papers. I don't know, but I just felt like we should be careful. And also, if you feel like something is not right, just speak up because the British are very nice. They understand us. They listen actually when we speak. And don't let anybody intimidate you. Don't let anybody make you unhappy. If you feel you need to ask questions, speak up for yourself, and don't do anything that will put you into trouble, guys. I just wanted to come here and share this with you guys. Let me know in the comment section, okay? Until we meet again in my next video, guys. Bye.